Good evening, and welcome to Friday Film Review for March 2021. I'm Chris Bell from the Smithtown Library. Whether you miss the weekly movie programs at the Smithtown Library or you just want to watch some good films, join us each month for reviews of recommended movies that you can enjoy at home on Fridays or any day you choose using the library's streaming services Hoopla and Canopy. If you aren't already using Hoopla and Canopy, I will tell you how to access them from the Smithtown Library homepage at the end of the program. The first movie this month is Days of Heaven. Released in 1978, it was the second feature film directed by Terrence Malick and won the prize for Best Direction at the Cannes Film Festival. Despite the success of Malick's first two films, Badlands and Days of Heaven, he did not direct another film for 20 years when The Thin Red Line was released in 1998. The movie stars Richard Gere in one of his earliest films, who went on to make An Officer and a Gentleman, Pretty Woman, and many others. Brooke Adams was doing TV work when she landed the role of Abby. Playwright Sam Shepard also has an impressive acting resume, which includes The Right Stuff and Steel Magnolias, and Linda Manns, in her first acting role, also provides the film's narration. Days of Heaven tells the story of Bill, a poor steel mill worker who in 1916 has a violent altercation with his boss and goes on the lam, bringing his little sister and his girlfriend with him to the windy Texas panhandle. The couple pretend to be brother and sister as they work the fields of a wealthy but dying farmer. Bill soon hatches a duplicitous plan to inherit the farmer's estate, but of course, things go awry. In 2017, the New York Times published an article entitled 3 Reasons to Watch Days of Heaven. The first reason is the cinematography by Nestor Almendros, whose international career spanned from 1950 to 1991 and won him 4 Oscars for Best Cinematography, the first of which was for Days of Heaven. Much of the movie was shot around sunrise and sunset, the so-called magic hour, giving the images a soft and warm glow that take the viewer back in time. The second reason is the understated performances of the 4 main characters. They all seem to be perfectly cast, conveying their feelings without a lot of dialogue. The third reason is the narration. Linda's raspy voiceover feels homespun as she comments and philosophizes in language full of slang and rambling observations. At the most intense moments in the story, the narration breaks in and cuts through the tension in an unforgettable way. I have to tell you that Days of Heaven is one of my favorite films of all time. It's just beautiful to look at, filled with gorgeous images from nature. The soundtrack is haunting with its recurring melody from the Carnival of the Animals. But the beautiful sounds and imagery contrast with the plot, which is full of hardship and loss and only brief moments of heaven. I highly recommend that you watch Days of Heaven on Canopy. The documentary The Times of Bill Cunningham is Mark Bozek's first feature and is based on his own 1994 interview with Bill Cunningham. Produced in 2018, it was the audience favorite feature at Aspen Film Fest 2019 and was released in North America in February 2020. Bill Cunningham turned fashion photography into his own branch of cultural anthropology on the streets of New York, chronicling an era's ever-changing social scene for the New York Times by training his observant lens on what people wore. Narrated by Sarah Jessica Parker, The Times of Bill Cunningham features incredible photographs chosen from over 3 million previously unpublicized images and documents from iconic street photographer and fashion historian Bill Cunningham. Told in Cunningham's own words from a recently unearthed 1994 interview, the photographer chronicles, in his customarily cheerful and plain-spoken manner, moonlighting as a milliner in France during the Korean War, his unique relationship with First Lady Jackie Kennedy, his 4 decades at the New York Times, and his democratic view of fashion and society. Bill Cunningham was a very humble person with irrepressible good humor. He got his first camera in 1967 as a gift from a friend. It was a small Olympus that he called an idiot box because it couldn't be out of focus. This is when he began shooting fashion in the street. Riding his bicycle and wearing his signature blue jacket, he carried the camera with him everywhere and took photos every day. Although he took photos of celebrities and famous people, who you will see in many of the featured pictures, he preferred to photograph ordinary people. But pay close attention because the photo montages go by very fast. The Times of Bill Cunningham is available on Canopy. The Lost Husband is the second feature film directed by Vicky White, who also co-wrote the screenplay with Catherine Center, the author of the novel on which the movie is based. The movie stars Leslie Bibb, who has done a lot of TV work and some films, including Iron Man and Iron Man 2. Co-star Josh Duhamel has appeared in movies including When in Rome and Safe Haven, and the movie also features Nora Dunn and Sharon Lawrence. The Lost Husband tells the story of a woman attempting to put her life back together after the death of her husband as she moves with her children to her estranged aunt's goat farm in central Texas, meeting and matching wills with the ranch's resident cowboy. In an interview, director Vicky White said that she worked with the movie cinematographer on the specific look that she wanted for the film. As she explained, quote, "I wanted it to have an authenticity and a softness to it, and so we agreed upon using Panavision Ultra Prime lenses. They're the same lenses that are used in Terrence Malick's Days of Heaven, which I know is a stretch from The Lost Husband, but if you look at both films next to each other, there is a softness about both, and there is an emotional authenticity that I was after." Unquote. This comparison was a pure coincidence, since I had already decided to talk about Days of Heaven when I saw this interview. I will leave it to you to watch the two films and see if you notice a similarity. You can find The Lost Husband on Hoopla. The next movie is Critical Thinking, which was released in 2020 and was directed by and stars John Leguizamo. Leguizamo's only other directorial project was a 2003 TV movie, but as an actor he has a long resume, starting with the TV series Miami Vice in the 1980s and going on to such diverse films as Carlito's Way, Moulin Rouge, and the Ice Age series. This film is not rated, but it would be rated R for language and brief violence. Based on a true story from 1998, 5 Latino and Black teenagers from the toughest underserved ghetto in Miami fight their way into the National Chess Championship under the guidance of their unconventional but inspirational teacher. Although this is an inspiring movie, it doesn't downplay the dangers of the environment the characters inhabit. The potential for violence, homelessness, crime, and police harassment is always there, and the movie doesn't abandon this reality for a feel-good message. Mr. Martinez understands the temptations and frustrations of his students' world, but he challenges them to do for themselves and calls chess the great equalizer. The students form strong bonds and a camaraderie that helps them succeed. Since we've been talking about cinematography, it's worth mentioning that Leguizamo uses an opposite kind of technique for this film. Instead of the softness and warmth of Days of Heaven and The Lost Husband, the look of this film is dark and grainy, as if it were filmed in 1998, and conveys the grittiness of their environment. Critical Thinking is available on Canopy. In honor of St. Patrick's Day, the last movie this month is the magical Irish film The Secret of Rowan Inish, which was released in 1994 and was an official selection at the Sundance Film Festival and the Toronto International Film Festival. It was directed by John Sayles, who also directed 8 Men Out and Passion Fish. Sayles is also a prolific screenwriter and co-wrote the script for this film. Jenny Courtney, who is charming as the wise beyond her years Fiona, appeared in 2 other films as a child, but doesn't seem to have pursued acting as an adult. The Secret of Rowan Inish is a magical tale of a girl whose search for her missing brother brings an Irish legend to life. Fiona is a young Irish girl with an unusual family history, including a long missing baby brother. When she goes to live with her grandparents on the west coast of Ireland, Fiona hears stories about her ancestors, tales that involve mythical creatures called selkies, who can shift from seal to human form. After Fiona ends up on the small island of Rowan, Inish, her family's ancestral home, she believes she may have found her little brother living by the sea. Fiona is an old soul who is enchanted by the old tales and the old ways. She loves to listen to her grandfather tell stories about shipwrecks and selkies, and her belief in their magic makes her cling to the hope of finding her brother. The movie is full of beautiful scenery and traditional Irish folk music. You can watch The Secret of Rowan Inish on Hoopla or Canopy. If you need to download Hoopla and Canopy, go to the library's website at www.smithlib.org, click on Digital Library, and then select Movies and TV. There are links for the Hoopla and Canopy apps, as well as printable instructions and video tutorials. And of course, if you need further assistance, please call us at 631-360-2480, and we will be happy to help you. Thank you for joining me today. And don't miss April's Friday Film Review program, which will be available starting on April 2nd. Please continue to visit the library's website at www.smithlib.org for more programs and resources.